Welcome to Impact Farming, where we introduce you to the people and ideas that will have a massive impact on your farming operation. Brought to you by Farm Marketer. Sit down, start the engine, and let's roll with today's show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Impact Farming Show. Today, we have an amazing guest with us. We have Heather Watson, who is the Executive Director from Farm Management Canada. Welcome, Heather.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Glad to be here.
I am so excited to have you on. You are the queen of farm business management over there at Farm Management Canada. So I'm so excited to have you share your gold mine of tools for Canadian farmers. With that being said, can you tell us a little bit more? We'll dive right in. Can you tell us a little bit more about your position and Farm Management Canada, who you guys are, your mission, what you do, all that good stuff, and then we'll get into all the good stuff that you guys are doing over there.
Of course. And I have to say, I'm really pleased to be here today with you, a fellow farm business management enthusiast. So I feel like I'm in good company, very comfortable today talking with you about who we are and what we do. So we're Farm Management Canada, and we're a national nonprofit organization. We were started in the early 90s, so following the farm financial crisis of the 80s, which everyone remembers. We thought it might be important to turn to farm business management as a way of better managing risk. And of course, as we find ourselves in these COVID times and hopefully soon to be post-COVID times, risk management is ever so important and kind of rising to the top in terms of priorities. So that's why we were started, our mission to increase awareness and adoption of farm business management activities for Canada, but we also tend to influence and talk to other countries as well. But altogether, we're trying to raise that bar and build the business acumen of Canada's farmers. I've been with the organization since 2009, leading the organization since 2010. And every day brings new excitement and new opportunities. And I'm so pleased to be here to share them with you today.
Excellent. Anybody that knows me knows I'm pretty darn passionate about farm business management. I always say farming is two parts. We have our production, right? And we have our business. And we can't really have one without the other. And I think it's so important for producers, and I know we share that, to have that farm business savviness. And I love what you guys are doing, so it's great to have you on the show. I don't know if I've ever said it out loud, Heather. I'm going to say it to you and the audience here, but it's my goal to make farm business management sexy.
I like it.
Good.
We can work with that.
I think that's going to be the new slogan for the show, making farm business management sexy.
Yeah. No, that's perfect.
Yeah, and then put my little since date that the show.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Making it sexy since. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Oh, good stuff. I am so happy to have you. This is going to be fun. Okay, so I am familiar with some of the things you guys do more than some of the other pieces. I know the Farm Business Management Resource Center is what you consider your whole business and everything that you guys do. I am familiar with the AgEx Conference, and I've attended that and loved it. And I know about the National Farm Leadership Program. So why don't we start there and get you to tell the audience about those two things, and then I'll get you to dive into all of the other things that you guys are doing that's new, great, and helping farmers out.
Sure, sounds good. And yeah, we're really pleased to have, so what we did was we pushed all of our resources into this National Farm Business Management Resource Center at takeanewaapproach.ca. And so it's really a gathering place for all things farm business management. So whether it's templates and tools and calculators, but also events, as well as programs, learning programs, skills development opportunities, and everything you can think of, videos and all sorts of media related. And it's not just our stuff, it's whatever we find across the World Wide Web that, we'd like to share with Canada's farmers. So yeah, the AgEx Conference stands for Agricultural Excellence, of course. So we've been doing this conference for a number of years. We do it every kind of November to December, depending on who else is doing what, because we don't want to make farmers have to choose between, competing great events. So the AgEx Conference is really the only opportunity for us farm business management enthusiasts to get together. So it's really directed towards the producer specifically, but in kind of our effort to collectively raise the bar on managing the farm through business practices, we invite advisors and academia and students and government and organizations and anyone that's interested in helping support the producer and understanding what's happening on the farm so that they can lend their support and programs and services. So it's really the only national gathering place for all farmers. We welcome farmers from all walks of life, all demographics, to really focus on building their business skills and hearing about those practices that are going to make the difference, and having that opportunity to interact with fellow farm management enthusiasts. So our this year's conference is coming up. We've had to go virtual because of COVID, but it's actually, at first we were a little bit scared, but now we're excited because we can kind of extend the learning opportunity. So instead of it being 2 days, it's 3 days. And we also have something cool called Ag Extras. So basically all of our speakers who are part of the main conference will have these follow-up sessions for those registrants who register for kind of the premium registration. Will have kind of these small group discussions with these incredible speakers. So we're excited to bring it to Canada December 8th to 10th, and it's at agexcellenceconference.ca.
Awesome. And the good thing too, we have to find our blessings in this situation called COVID, right? And for you guys, you alternate the location every year from province to province, right? Yeah. Which is fantastic. But on the downside, for somebody like me, if I want to go every year, I'm probably not going to follow right across Canada. So here, you guys have really opened up the potential for everybody to go, right? Even worldwide, I imagine.
Yeah, exactly. So we have really good friends through the International Farm Management Association, and they gather for a congress every 2 years that brings internationals together. So it's really cool to kind of say, hey, you guys can come this year. And we do like to move the in-person conference from province to province to kind of share the love, right? To make it so it's not always, having to travel from New Brunswick to Alberta or whatever it is. But having that opportunity to kind of, open it up to everyone. We're hoping to cast a wide net and get so many more people interested in this stuff and how they can, benefit the farm and the people that they work with through business management, and hoping that, we can kind of have a larger impact by reaching folks that maybe wouldn't be able to come if it was held in person or some other format.
Nice. Well, good luck. I'm going to be there. Be there. Virtually, I'll be there with you guys. So I'm pretty excited for that one. Now, awesome. Why don't we roll into the National Leadership Program?
Yeah, so this is our newest baby, and it's doing very well. So we had the first cohort join us in January of 2020, and so we're actually still working with that group because it's really a calendar year long program, and so there's a combination of online, kind of virtual learning as well as in person. So it's 11 weeks of kind of intense, online virtual learning. And then within there, we squeeze a 3-day residency where we all physically get together. And it's really kind of a really safe place to practice some of those tools and methods that we're teaching through the program. So what the program is designed to do is basically we all know that we face challenges, and oftentimes those challenges come from interpersonal relations, or, assumed conflict and fear of confrontation, or, a lot of times from the way that we intentionally or don't intend or not intentionally interact with others. So this program really helps you understand, kind of what are your natural tendencies in your leadership style, and what's working for you and what's not, and then how do we put a plan together to make positive progress and work on your leadership effectiveness. And we see, that kind of you were talking about kind of production and business management. Well, the same thing goes for, leadership and management, is that, doing the thing right versus doing the right thing, those kind of have to work together. And so we see it as a complete complement to all the business management skills that we're working on. This leadership stuff is really essential, because you can have the best business plan in the world, but if you don't know how to, work most effectively with your team to implement it and carry the momentum and get everyone excited and keep them excited, then it can fall short. So yeah, so we're really, really pleased with the program. The first cohort's still going through. We have our monthly Zoom meetings to track everyone and see how it's going. And of course, we're totally open for next year's registration. So next year's program will start officially at the end of January. So folks can apply at any time to be part of the program.
Perfect. And just so you guys in the audience know, we're going to include links in the show notes to the website, and we'll put some details about the programs that Heather and I are reviewing, just because I know we're going to go through a lot here and people are probably busy trying to write this all down. So rest assured, we'll have notes and links for you guys. And if you're interested in anything, hop on over to the Farm Business Resource Center. So okay, those were the two that I am really familiar with. Mm-hmm. Now I'm just going to get you to dive in and share some of your awesome tools, and just share away, girl.
Perfect. That sounds good. So one of the areas where we've been really concentrating on is risk management. And we know not every farmer is keen to, do the proactive thing and, let's do our planning and let's, look at what could happen and blah, 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 blah. So we find a lot of producers are more responsive if we talk about the here and now, not the there and then. So we've really focused our efforts on managing risk, managing what's happening right now, what's not working for you, or where are you struggling, to find a way to, have a better way of being and feeling and managing the farm and all those wonderful things. So on that note, we've been looking at, okay, how is the industry perceiving risk out there, and what programs are in place? And a few years ago, we attended a conference and it was about managing risk in agriculture, but we found out after, sitting there for 3 days, it was about insurance programs and insurance programs and insurance programs. And we sat there thinking, but there's so many other ways you can manage risk. There's planning, there's standard operating procedures, there's so many things that are actually in control, at the farm management level, where you could mitigate some of these potential negative impacts and even discover some opportunities. So what we did was we created something called a comprehensive guide to managing risk in agriculture, which isn't the, sorry, Tracy, sexiest title, but all we wanted to do was look at, has anyone looked into all the risks facing the producer and what possible way we could look at starting to manage these risks and starting to kind of, reduce our uncertainty. So that's the purpose of the guide. And then we were able to get some funding from AgriResponse, which is a federal funding program under the Canadian Ag Partnership, to basically take this concept and turn it online. So this was kind of the birth of AgriShield. So AgriShield is an online platform, much easier to use and access than, kind of a printed book, that basically walks producers through a comprehensive risk assessment. It's a self-assessment. So you're rating, what is the likelihood that this risk could happen on our farm? What's the severity if it does happen on our farm? And how prepared am I? And how prepared is based on this gigantic list of best management practices. And I'm not afraid to say gigantic list because it really is, but I think it goes to show that there's lots of things we can be doing when we feel like the world is outside of our control, and especially right now, there are things that we can do to help us sleep at night and to say, you know what, I've done my very best, I've prepared as much as I can for XYZ. So that's what AgriShield is about, and it's at myagrishield.ca, which I know you'll add into the notes. And then the reason I mentioned that one first is because two other things that we're doing, kind of, I guess, based on that first premise is now we're able to use the AgriShield platform to offer these Roots to Success workshops. We like the word Roots to Success. We think it's kind of cool. But basically, it's using this platform and helping producers, but also advisors, learn how to use this platform in order to do a comprehensive risk assessment and plan for the farm. So we're helping the farmers, yes, but we're also equipping the advisors with the knowledge to effectively use this type of assessment tool with producers. So we're running workshops across Canada in both official languages, and we can, tell you more about dates and times and things like that a bit later. All of this was planned before COVID, and so we were planning on face-to-face workshops. With COVID coming around, all of this has moved virtual, but it's actually been kind of cool because, the online space lets you do things a little bit differently and maybe extend the learning a little bit because you're not looking at, when do you have to catch the flight or do I need another night's accommodation? So it's been really kind of cool evolving into that online space, and hopefully we can start offering the face-to-face going forward, but I think we'll probably offer both because I think both have their merits. And a lot of folks said, if this was face-to-face, they probably wouldn't be able to come. So there's always a silver lining, which is great. So then COVID hit, of course, as we all know, and we thought, well, what can we do as an organization? I knew we have this kind of proactive risk assessment planning thing, but it's a little bit more, maybe starting on the strategic side of things, like what can we do for the here and now and being responsive? And so we have this national farm risk management roundtable group that we've pulled together as part of the Roots to Success project. And so we all met and said, what can we do? And so there was a lot of talk about, okay, there's a lot of programs out there. I'm not sure anyone knows how to kind of navigate what's available where and when, but also we need to start talking more about emergency preparedness and contingency planning. And so out came the idea of AgriResponse, which we just launched. I think it was in August. But basically, it's another website, agriresponse.ca, but it concentrates on resources around COVID response, yes, but we want it to be alive and well and carry momentum past COVID. But it's focused specifically on emergency response and contingency planning and the tools available for that. But also how it's different from any other resource center is it focuses on this Ask the Expert piece. So we have tons of experts kind of across the country in different areas of management, of business management. And so at any time, producers can go on or anyone can go on and ask a question. And we basically field it through these experts and they give us a response, either video or written or et cetera, et cetera. So that's our kind of newest baby is agriresponse.ca, hoping that it will help people navigate the kind of COVID and post-COVID path to emergency preparedness.
Sound like excellent tools. I have a question for you, Heather.
Yeah.
Do you actually sleep?
Yeah.
With everything that you watch over there? Wow, you are superwoman. Good job.
Yeah. Well, we're also very conscious of the effect that mental health has on our capacity to succeed. So I definitely do try to maintain work-life balance.
That wasn't a question to catch you or anything, but I'm sitting here going, wow, good job. Those are great.
We have a really great team. We're a small team, but everyone just puts their whole heart into everything that we do, and they don't miss a beat, and it's just awesome. Yeah, it's so fun.
And I'm sitting here and I know of the tools, but I haven't had a chance to dive in. But on our website and our platforms, I would love to share some of this in our
Yeah.
together to get the word out, because these are some great tools that you guys have put together.
Yeah, that would be great. And really, I mean, back to our mandate, all we're trying to do is connect producers and those helping producers with what's out there. And if it's not out there, then we'll make it, you know? So the more we can get the word out and let producers know this is available to them, the better. That'd be great.
Okay, excellent. Take it away again.
All right. So, what else have we got going on? I suppose, so on the resource center, we've got an events listing, and so we're a little bit particular, and we include those events that have farm business management as part of the agenda. So just because you're the biggest ag event in Canada or whatever doesn't necessarily get you on our listing, because we really want to kind of condense it down to, if you're looking for business skills development, these are the events featuring those pieces. So that's also on the website. And then I guess what I would do is probably, I suppose we've got like all of our ag webinars are attached to the website. So we've been doing those since the internet was invented. So over 200 archive webinars, free to view at any time, searchable by topic and by speaker, whatever you like. We've also, I think one of the coolest things about it is, I guess, two things. So one thing is the website is organized by kind of your stage of farming. So it's, starting your farm, growing your farm, transitioning your farm, which helps kind of triage some of the resources. So you're not overwhelmed with, oh gosh, here's all things farm business management, and try and figure out what's relevant to you. But on the latter point, we also are working on building a kind of a database in the background to say, we actually do want somewhere where we can put everything that we've found. So we kind of have that happy balance of, here's the stuff that's going to get you where you need to go right now. But, if you are interested in whether, Lower Mainland BC has done an emergency preparedness, template or something, it'll be there too. So we're building this kind of database at the back end, so that we can kind of, I guess, have our cake and eat it too, in a manner of speaking. So there's those. And I suppose it's maybe worth mentioning some of the things that we're working on now. So in an effort to kind of make sure that this resource database is as robust as can be, and looking at, what's going on in the world of farm business management, how can we help? One of the things we're working on is a farm transition toolkit. So basically, it's kind of interesting because, we thought, we could build this robust guide that has everything you ever wanted to know about transition. But then as we started looking outside of ourselves, we see, well, Nova Scotia's got a great tool, BC's got a great tool, Manitoba's got a great tool, Alberta. So the toolkits become basically bringing together all the resources out there, but bringing them together in kind of a way that walks you through, I guess, the process of transition, or kind of the steps to transition from, what's your current situation? So we have kind of a choose your own farm transition tool available. That's like, have you identified your successor, or haven't you? And if you have you started grooming them? How have you started grooming them? So it kind of is almost like a choose your own adventure based on where you are with farm transition, which we think helps people figure out, okay, where am I and what's the possible next steps? So it goes through that kind of assessing your situation piece to, okay, now we're ready to do the plan. Here's some resources to help you do the plan, including, fillable templates and stuff like that, but also access to advisory services, folks out there that do this for a living that can help you and have all the battle wounds from working in this field for many, many, many years, over to implementation, kind of monitoring and managing your progress, lots and lots on communications, how to communicate about transition. And I know that Elaine Fraze is kind of a staple on this show, and, all of her tools will be featured as well. And especially in terms of how do we talk about this? How do we talk about something that's so uncomfortable for many folks? And then, some cool things like success stories or kind of inspiring, case studies, things like that. Things that, as well as like, I know it's not super exciting, the statistics, but sometimes it's interesting to know that, kind of this is how we're doing in transition planning, and here's the success and failure rates of certain types of businesses and things. So we'll be sharing everything transition, everything that we know, and and all that wonderful stuff.
I am so excited for this.
Awesome.
In our show, I had been covering, like we were speaking about prior to recording here, I have been covering succession planning, transition planning for some time. And we're always saying, you got to do it, you got to do it. But the next step is, how do you do it?
Yeah.
And I think where it's very challenging to go into the next step is we don't know who we're talking to and what their family dynamics are, right? So I love that you guys are finally putting the tool together. That is going to be a game changer for farmers. When do you expect that to be done? Not to put your feet to the fire, but.
No, it's totally okay. I am used to it. I do have a board to report to. So officially the project is supposed to be done by March 31st, 2021, but we are kind of aiming for January 12th because we have kind of this concept rolling around, and we're working with a few partners to look at creating a farm transition appreciation day. And we think it would be, we don't want to say it's a kind of light a fire under your day. It's not to kind of wallow in, I haven't made it as far as I wanted to, or I'm not, I haven't done as much as I wanted to. But let's celebrate what we have done. And, as Len Davies puts it, we're going to focus on progress, not perfection. So let's appreciate the importance of transition, what it means to everybody, but also the steps that we are taking and can take, and all that wonderful stuff. So we're going to be putting together kind of a virtual learning day with a few partners on specific topics, family transfer, non-family transfer, and all that wonderful stuff. So our feet to the fire is we need to be ready to launch this toolkit on that day.
Wow. No pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, no Christmas holidays for anyone.
Yeah, no. I'm excited for that to come out. And
yeah.
I know we're here to help you guys and get it out to our audience as well. So
that's awesome. And something else that I guess maybe the last thing I'll mention is something that might be of interest to you and near and dear to your heart is I know you had the infamous Dick Whitman on your show a few weeks ago, talking about his Building an Effective Farm Management System guidebook as well as manual and things. So it's just so funny how things happen and how the universe brings people together. So we had Dick out to our conference in Fredericton, our Ag Excellence Conference in Fredericton last year, and just got talking over coffee. And I said, it'd be really nice to have like a farm management manual, like a fill in the blanks, like just everything you need to know about managing this farm as a business. And he's like, have you heard of my Building an Effective Farming? And I said, oh, okay. So anyways, we got talking, and he's been getting lots of requests, and he's been dying to take his resource online and give it a refresh and a revamp. So I'm happy to say over the summer, we've been on our 8 a.m. Eastern time and 5 a.m. Pacific time calls with Dick Whitman to revise and refresh this resource and bring it into the online space. That again is due to be finished by March 31st, 2021. If we can get it done sooner, then that's great. But we're really excited because we held this series of workshops called Bridging the Gap. And basically we worked with Cedric McLeod and Elaine Fraze, and we brought together farm families. So it was, it's great if you want to come alone, but really bring your whole family, because we need to all have a conversation about transition, about starting the conversation, continuing the conversation, and what are the, practical tools and pieces that can kind of help you get some of this stuff in writing and get you on your way. And so, with that workshop, a lot of the frustrations came from. Of course, fear of the unknown, fear of opening Pandora's box. But we started kind of putting some pieces in place, and we used some of the elements from Dick Whitman's guidebook in terms of, what's your vision for your farm? What are your values? Who are the key players and what do they do? What are the main risks? So we started kind of putting this together, and and I didn't realize it was part of this whole giant, giant guidebook. But then, at the end of the workshop, we said, okay, well, what would be really helpful for you guys? Like, obviously, we can't stay with you here forever, but we don't want this to be one and done. And they said, if we had a binder that we can basically keep putting these sheets of paper in and kind of figure out a way to bring it all together. So let's do the farm history piece and put it in. Let's do the vision and put it in. Let's do the business plan and put it in. But also let's do the, if you ever talk to Maggie Van Camp or Angie Fox, the Because I Love You list. All that stuff coming together and saying, if something were to happen to me, or when I'm thinking about the next generation taking over, to actually have everything in a physical binder, you can say, this is what it takes to manage my farm or manage the farm. And of course, doesn't have to be all physical, but I like physical because I just think if you can smell it and feel it and touch it, you can talk about it. But yeah, so that's kind of the premise behind that. And we're really excited that, that the universe brought us together. And now that we're working together on this piece, it's pretty exciting.
I feel the same way about Dick and how he came into my awareness, and it was great. Immediately, I'm like, your resource is the resource I have been looking for. I'm sharing all these great guests and all their wisdom, but it is really challenging. Again, if you don't have something physical, it's really easy to go, I'll do it. Or and it's just a starting point, right? And in the entrepreneurial space, I was saying to Dick, there are so many books, shelves of books about how to grow your business, manage your business, scale it up, and then kind of that all-in-one SOP, standard operating procedures. But you come to farming, I didn't think there was anything out there, and then I found Dick and the guide that he has. So between that one and the one that you guys are putting together for farm transition, I'm going to be your biggest supporters. I'm very excited about
Awesome.
I'm about that, but you know what? To me, you can have the best crops and the best animals, but there is so much gain or loss in the business part of it if you are not the strong business manager you need to be, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's really figuring out, we know most farmers didn't get into farming to run businesses. We know that. But knowing that is an essential piece of, being in business and staying in business and excelling at that business, how are you going to fill that gap? So if it's not you, then who on your team can start filling those pieces? Or, if you're using advisors, in the States, they actually hire in farm managers. So, the owner and the operator and the manager are three different people. In Canada, it tends to all be one person or a couple people. But, as long as you've got those buckets filled and those boxes ticked, you're good. But you don't need to be kind of feeling overwhelmed that it's all up to you and you have to do everything. And, you're doing all the farming work and now you've got all the business stuff to take care of. Absolutely not. It's figuring out, what are you truly good at? How should you be spending your time, and where can others support you?
And it's going to be a little bit morbid, but you got to go there. And wills are on my mind. We're working on a will. And I forget who it was. Maybe it was Maggie's presentation, I think, with Angela. I didn't actually watch it, but I knew what they were presenting about. Then I started thinking, I don't manage the farm on a day-to-day business. That's Anthony's job. I am more than pleasantly occupied running our media company and running around the world. So that is not my role. But same thing, we're two business owners. I said, okay, if something heaven forbid would happen to him, I would have a general concept of how to get everything done. The particulars, how many head per pasture, I would be able to ballpark it. But I finally started going through, and I have a folder for Farm Marketer with all my lawyers and bank statements and all of that stuff. We have the farm and our bank accounts, anything that if one of us were not around, they could take that and go, okay, here we go, right? And figure it out. Worst case, right? And it's just organized. And then once you take a small little step, like how hard is it? The bank mails you your statement every month. Just grab that. And it doesn't have to be a binder. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be labeled or named. It can be a folder, a duotang from the kids. Just start putting stuff in, and then you just feel empowered, right? And you go, okay, next thing. Let's get the lawyer's printed page of the website off. And then small steps, and every one of those you take, you go, hey, wait a minute, why don't I tackle my net worth? And so on, so on. And then now up to tools like what Dick has, buying that and filling that out, and then what you guys are doing. So anyways, that's my long-winded rant. I think it's so important. Hopefully we don't ever need those more morbid ones, but you look at most businesses outside of agriculture of any size, a lot of them have these tools in place, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is great stuff that you guys have put together to empower farmers to do the same thing. I love it.
And we understand, awesome. And we understand it's not easy, and it can be very, very daunting, but like you say, I mean, something like, putting together the, how do I run my farm, or what are the important, people and paperwork and things like that, like a little bit of work up front, and kind of, as you just one piece at a time. I really think that having that stuff in place, does help you kind of sleep better at night, like knowing that there's a place someone can go if anything should happen, and it leaves them, at least with an idea of where to go from here, rather than, a lot. And on the business planning side, all the time we hear, oh yeah, I have a plan, it's in my head. But I'm thinking, well, like, what good is that if something, God forbid, should happen to you? Or if you're thinking about, how do I bring the next generation to the farm? Well, if everything is in your head, it's really hard for everyone around you to understand, what you're doing and why you're doing it. And like I said before about the leadership program, sometimes your best intentions really don't land that way. So, oh, I'm going to send you an email because I don't want to, call you and disturb you if you're busy. Well, sometimes a call is going to land a lot better in that moment than an email about whatever given topic. So yeah, it's really important to kind of reflect on what you can do to take the uncertainty out of farming.
Well, and I could go on a whole nother rampage here, but even for us, and I know from my business, Farm Marketer, I have budgets, all the financials. And for the farm, we were getting that put together, and it's amazing. People go, oh, well, I know what my costs are. I know what my income is, depending on what the market's doing. But let's focus on the cost part, because it is so surprising. People think, why do I need a business plan or a budget? Because, repairs, yeah, it's about 10 grand a year, and this. So we started actually tracking it and doing farm financials. And it's pretty funny. You spend 2 grand here, 2 grand here, and then you do that 5 times, you're at 10 grand. But you somehow forget about the other couple. And then you actually get that on paper in farm financials. And you go, oh, I didn't realize, right? It's something about, like you said, that tangible, the paper, and then it makes it real. And then you can start to make decisions. And I know our audience has heard me roar about this a million times. I call it roar when I get passionate. But we had a tractor. It was a terrible tractor. But when you pay a little bit here, or a lot here, and a lot here, and a lot here to fix it, it's not one big bill. So you don't realize that cost. Then all of the year you look at those financials and you go, oh. And then you go, okay, well, it's still cheaper than buying a new one. We'll just fix it. Year 2, you go, oh, wait a minute. I think there's a decision that needs to be made here. That's business and production. what do we want to do about this tractor? And we would have just kept on paying those bills here and there. But if you don't have it in front of you, it's not really real, right?
Well, and your decisions can only be as good as the information that you have. So if your information is a little bit wishy-washy, here and there, that's what you're basing your decisions off of. Whereas if you, like you've done, really look at what is this actually costing us, and what is the line item here, rather than kind of this guesstimate, all of a sudden you're more informed to say, yeah, you know what, we should probably look into replacing this equipment. And I mean, there's different options for it too, right? But having that, like right in your face, like this is actually what's happening. And I think that's where we're seeing a lot of success and a lot of interest growing in, the idea of peer advisory groups and benchmarking clubs, because it gives producers, an opportunity to kind of get down to the nuts and bolts. But then also, as we all love to do, is see, well, how are we doing in comparison to everyone else? And, there might be some places where actually we're doing really, really well, and we'll just keep doing that. But there's probably some holes in your bucket that you want to address.
I love it. I could talk about this stuff for hours.
Me too.
Closer, we would go out on coffee dates and talk about farm business management.
Yes, I would love that. We should definitely set up some virtual happy hours or coffee hours or whatever you like.
And when
that would be great.
When COVID's done and we're live in events, it'll be great. I get to use AgEx in person and we can chat. And in the meantime, we get to do fantastic things like the Impact Farming Show and share our conversations with the audience. So does that cover all of the million zillion things that you guys have on the go? So many great tools. I think we.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm definitely probably forgetting some things. I know there was some chatter about coming on Instagram this morning. So I feel like every day we wake up, there's new exciting things we're working on and new opportunities with partners. So I guess I would just encourage folks to, sign up to get our updates and our newsletters. So we tell you everything we're doing. Our next newsletter is due to come out in a couple weeks. So you can sign up on our official website or the National Resource Center, Take a New Approach, to kind of find out what we're up to, because I think on any given day, new opportunities surface, and I could probably go on and on and on. But yeah, I think the, I really love how you said at the beginning, a gold mine of farm business resources, and that's really what this National Resource Center is about, and what we're about is, not saying, oh, look at us, we're so great, we've created so many things, but we just want to play a meaningful role in connecting producers with the opportunities out there and creating new opportunities when there's a need not being met. So if we can do that, then we've had a good day.
Mission accomplished. Okay, one more time for our audience. If they want to go to the website and check out these tools, where do they go?
Yeah, so I think the easiest thing to do is go to www.takeanewapproach.ca. That'll bring you to the National Farm Business Management Resource Center, all of the tools we've collected, all that wonderful stuff, and link you back to us if you're interested in us as an organization. But everything you'll need is there, and it's ever growing, ever evolving. So make sure you bookmark it, because it'll be ever changing, and we're really excited to see how we can grow and expand and continue to offer a really meaningful, relevant, and timely resource.
I love it. Thank you, Heather, for joining us. And you know what? Most importantly, thank you for the work you guys do. You guys are such a leader in farm business management, and I cannot thank you guys enough, because that's a crucial piece in farming. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us. It was our pleasure, sincerely, and we'd love to come back anytime.
Perfect. And on that note, thank you guys for joining us, and make sure that you join us next week. We're going to be having Heather back on to talk about healthy minds, healthy farmers, or healthy farms. And in that one, we're going to be diving into, on this one, we talked about a lot of the tools, but we're going to be diving into some studies that they have done that link the strength and the correlation between how well you manage your business and the impact that that has on mental health. So I'm super excited about that one as well. So if you enjoyed this episode, which I'm sure you did, like it, share it, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
You've been listening to Impact Farming. For more great episodes and articles designed to help you manage and grow your farming operation, head on over to farmmarketer.com. Don't forget to sign up while you're there. We will see you on the next episode.